This content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no one.
Wait a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. It's a new year, and we're doing a new format when it comes to reviews. I know I've been kind of slow in getting new content out. It's just been one of those rough starts. But with luck, we're going to have some fun. And I've got a couple of reviews I have had lined up. I promised to do them, and I said I was going to get to them, and I am getting to them. And I actually spent some time brainstorming and checking out a review format. So down below, if you've been watching my reviews, you should let me know what you think of this format. I'm probably not going to do a lot of pictures that I throw up, because every time I do, I seem to get copyright stuff. Even when I was holding up a DVD copy, I got a copyright claim, but I fought it and beat it off. But it's still, it's annoying. I will be showing off the product, but I'm going to probably lay lower when it comes to showing any clips or anything like that. Well, clips from the movie. I still have my little short clips.
I don't know what they have to say. It makes no difference anyway. Whatever it is, I'm against it. No matter what it is or who commenced it, I'm against it.
But we'll see how it happens. So today, the main focus is going to be on Splatter Farm. Now, this is the edition I have, and as always, this is a DVD slash, Blu-ray slash, film review. This is about the product itself. The movie, though, is a part of that, and that is why this is kind of a slightly different from some of the competition, I guess you could say. This is a Camp Motion Pictures release, and this is the Polonia Brothers, one of their famous early films. So inside you get not only Splatter Farm, but you also get, you also get Monster Movie as well, which is one of the Polonia Brothers. They had actually had them both there right before he died, and that is a sad thing. But at least you got to see one film from him also before his passing. And included in this, we have a nice little book here, and it does have some fun insights into the filming. As always, before I do a review, I try to read every bit of material, which is why it sometimes takes a long time. But, we've got some lovely pictures here. And some lovely takes here. So, let's talk about what's included in our thing, and then we'll get into how I got introduced to it. So, before I get too far into the features, when I was talking with a friend of mine, Kyle Rappaport, he is an actor. He's also Movie Buff 1. You can actually see his link to his channel down below. His channel is pretty cool. He does reviews, he does pickups. Send him encouragement. He's an interesting guy, and pretty fun actor. But he had asked me about Return to Splatter Farm, which I had said, well, Splatter Farm, I never heard of it. And he said, well, you should. The Polonias are great filmmakers. You need to watch it, you need to review it, and then get to Return to Splatter Farm. So I went ahead, investigated, and went and got in. I'm somewhat familiar with the Polonia brothers. I've seen some of their work with David Sterling, and, you know, it's actually some fun. So this edition that I got is a pretty nice edition. I mean, not only are you getting 2 movies, which I will be covering both movies this time because that's part of what's included in this collection. It also has a ton of extras. Both movies have soundtracks. Not soundtracks, sorry. Have commentary tracks. The first being the Polonia brothers themselves doing the commentary. So you get to hear both Polonias talking. The second one also has all of the all the cast, both Polonias and the other cast members, all of them on the commentary. It's more of a jokey commentary, whereas the other one is a much more technical commentary, but they are both fun. So they are great in that. Both movies have some fun behind the scenes documentaries and featurettes, and the second one has a tribute to the late Polonia brother who had passed, I think it was in 2008. So not too long, really not too long after all of this happened. So, you know, it's kind of cool to be able to see this, to be able to get in touch with this and see that nice and touching tribute. So we've got already an A+ as far as I'm concerned with special features. If you like these shot-on-video films and you're looking for something chock full, this Camp Motion Pictures release is one heck of a deal. I mean, I got this for, I think, around $15, and that's 2 movies, and 2 fairly decent shot-on-video movies, as you're going to find out by my takes on it. But I guess we should get started. So let's talk about Splatter Farm. Splatter Farm is about these 2 individuals who end up coming upon this farm in their travels, Texas Chainsaw style. And it turns out that the mother and her son are not who they seem. Matter of fact, the son's a bit of a psychotic killer, and the mother ain't too healthy herself, if you know what I mean. As time goes on, they uncover the deadly secrets from within. I'm not going to go too far in. Don't want you to have any spoilers, especially if you watch this yourself. But we do have some fun things. Now, in my new format, I'm going to just break these down. Instead of just going good, bad, I'm just going to break it down into writing, acting, music, and special effects. So let's talk writing. I think this is well done. There's a lot of tributary elements there to various series. You get to see some tributes to some Friday the 13th, some definite Texas Chainsaw tributes. You get to see that a lot throughout. Matter of fact, you see that in both movies. They love using that dead horse thing. But writing-wise, it's actually not too bad. It has some disturbing elements. And again, if you consider that this was one of their first, films to get fully published, this is one of their earliest feature films, and it was only made for about $100. I mean, writing-wise, it's pretty darn good. You got to keep in mind a lot of the shot-on-video type thing. It's just one of those things, and they really had to work with what they had. And that's still quite something. Acting, again, this is a shot-on-video film. This is one of the earlier shot-on-video films out there. This is during that early renaissance of shot-on-video horror of the early 80s. And it is well worth your time to check out the things. The acting is so-so. bad in some places, but again, you're getting what you pay for. I mean, if I was like, oh, this is a big budget Darren Aronofsky film, I'd look at the acting and go, what the heck? But shot on video horror, done by some people who are kind of just finding their feet and just moving into the world at this point, that's not bad. As a matter of fact, it's actually fairly good considering. I would put this in at least mid-grade when it comes to B horror. So, some of it even A-grade when it comes to B horror. Because as you know, I always grade things to scale. I grade on a scale when it comes to these types of films. Music. The music when it was there was okay. It's probably one of the more lackluster components, and in some cases just outright missing. I could have taken early, left it. It's not very memorable, but again, that's not why I'm coming to see this. Music aside. Special effects. Here's where I think this really shines. Okay, $100. Let me rephrase that. $100. Yes, it was in the early 80s, but I mean, $100 in the early 80s is pretty darn good when it comes to those effects. They had used some bladder effects, had a beating heart. They reused some effects, but for what they got, for what they did, when you see these types of films, you really see the human mind working its darndest when it comes to how to work around this. They can't afford all of the glitzy stuff that you see in a lot of the high budget horror films. They have to make do. They have to improvise. The corpse that they had in this film looked amazing. They did this like melted styrofoam stuff like that. It looked real. They did an excellent job. They were talking about one of the scenes where the guy threw up, that he actually ended up throwing up because they were using rotten food to try and simulate this, and he just like start gagging and throwing up for real. So some of the stuff is more real than it should have been, and a lot of the blood effects were there. The camera recording was Super 8, so I guess you could say this is one of the definitions of shot on video, literally shot on video, when it comes to horror. And it was, it was indeed pretty good. There were a couple of cheesy effects, like the head that came off didn't quite look like the head that was supposedly attached to the body. But again, they're minor gripes. They seem to do pretty well with the lighting. I didn't really have a lot of problems with lighting effects, and Super 8 was notorious for that. So again, well met. Pretty darn good with what they did. So overall, a good film, a classic when it comes to these shot on video films, right up there with video violence as far as I'm concerned. It is a plus if you like this sort of things. So let's move on to Monster Movie. So Monster Movie is about these people who are going out on their annual trip, their guys' trip that they do. They film it. They use their old school camera, and they just go out and film. They're going out to the woods on the lake, and then they find out some mysterious stuff happening, and that there may be a monster involved. The writing on this was meant to copy a lot of the old stuff and Blair Witch hype that was going on in the world with their, and maybe a little bit of what do they call it? Cloverfield. The Cloverfield type thing, where you've got kind of a giant monster or something going on, and for the most part it's not seen. I mean, it was okay. The writing level was what it was. I really do think that they could have done some work with the pacing, but again, pacing is notoriously terrible in these types of found footage films. It's just what it is, so it could be that they're mimicking that. I'm not 100% sure. It looked like they had fun filming it, so that's a positive. But I don't know. It just, it just was kind of boring at parts. Now, acting-wise, I thought the acting was okay. It was decent for what it was. They sounded like the characters. I felt like they were who they were. I didn't feel like they were out of... And it wasn't enough to take me out of the story. They did what needed to be done for the roles and done. Music, well, there wasn't any really. There was some at the beginning and end, but that's it. And so I guess we could just take that out of the picture entirely. So don't expect a lot of music when it comes to this. So now we're down to special effects. Well, the monster looks very cheesy. They did a lot of work to try and make this thing look like it's shot on video, even though it's not really. Putting in all the lines and marks and jumps and all that stuff, and they knew what they were doing when it came to this, but it still looked like a film that was shot on a higher quality film stock, probably digitally, and then edited to look like it was shot on older film. So not quite there, but hey, it was a good effort. It looked okay. Like I said, monster looked cheesy, those effects, but they tried to keep those to a minimum, so that helped a lot. Most of the shots, I feel like were okay. I love the setting, though. The mountains, the wilderness, that swinging bridge. As somebody who grew up in the country, I had plenty of experience with swinging bridges. I know what they look like. I know how it feels to cross one, and it can be a terrifying experience if you're not used to it. So it's kind of fun to see. But overall, if I'm looking at these two films, this is obviously the lesser of the two. So let's talk about who this would appeal to. Shot on video fans. That's an easy one. You like shot on video. This is not just something you would like. This is a must. The Polonia brothers are individuals that are pioneers in the shot on video scene. They're maybe not the biggest level pioneers, but they are pioneers in the genre. So having one of their earliest films and one of the last films that they were on together, that right there, this is a piece of history right here. So to me, it's a must to have in your collection if you are a big fan of that. If you are a fan of slasher type films, I think you will enjoy Splatter Farm. I think you'll enjoy that. I think it's done well enough. So long as you're okay with B-level, lower budget, I think you'll be good. If you are somebody who has to have the highest level of special effects, if you've got to have like the highest level of acting, all this, this is not for you. If you're somebody who doesn't like horror movies, this is not for you. I do think that if you want to watch something bad for fun, you might really get some fun out of Monster Movie, and you may be able to get a little fun out of Splatter Farm. I think they did Splatter Farm a little bit too good to be made fun of like that. It's a big thing, but Monster Movie, on the other hand, that one I feel like you could easily have fun with. You could easily take a chunk out of that and just enjoy. So where can you get it? I got this online at Amazon relatively cheaply. I'll probably include a link to where I got it down below. You could probably catch up a couple of these copies on eBay. I'm not sure if it's out of print. I don't think it is. At least not that version. Let me see real quick. So, looking at this, I mean, no, it's not out of print. It's well into print. I mean, $17 will get you this edition. They say limited edition. I'm guessing it might go out of print in the future, but it's pretty simple to get. I don't really see any issue with it. There are other editions, like older editions of this, that are out by Camp, much like with video violence. It's they do go out of print. So I am glad that this did get a limited edition reprint, and apparently it got a reprint not long ago. So that's probably why it's not out of print. It was put into print, matter of fact, May of 2019. So I would, if you want this film, you should probably try and get it, because you never know. These go out of print and then they go up in price, because the other versions are like $100. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit subscribe. Check out Kyle's channel. Subscribe to him. Check out some Polonial Brothers films. Let him know that I sent you. Any case, we'll see you after the credits for the YouTube shoutout. Goodbye. Greetings to you, and welcome to another one of those editions of the YouTube Shoutout. This time, we are talking about a lovely individual that is AJR43269. I'm not exactly sure what that stands for, but this is another collector. I always like to do shout-outs to people who collect. I'm not a huge fan of the where you hold the phone. I'm more of a landscape person instead of a vertical filming person, but that's perfectly fine. Many people do like that style. Now, as far as things go, I think that it's kind of fun. I always like looking at collections, and he does show some pretty cool stuff. He showed some Adventure Time pickups during the last pickup. I try my best to keep up. I watch these things on occasion, and I do think that if you like to look at movie pickups, it's kind of cool to see, like his 2020 HBO collection, where he showed off his Tales from the Crypt stuff. And just in general, I like pickup videos. I like to put them on when I don't have anything else to watch. I like to just see what everybody else is collecting in the world. If you are a collector and you just like looking at other collections and seeing what people pick up, you should check them out. So this has been another YouTube shout out. This has been SeptumSin, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.